Preparations are being made right now for On the Table 2020 in its third year now. And I have Elizabeth Hauk on the line, and we're going to talk about what's new this year and how you can participate. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thanks for having me, Koko. Happy to be here.
So I remember the inaugural year for On the Table, and it was a great success. Then into year number two, got even better. But for those people who may not know about On the Table, could you walk us through what it is and then the changes that you're making now as a result of COVID-19?
Yes, so Central Carolina Community Foundation is going in its third year of hosting On the Table. So it started back in 2018, and for the past 2 years, it's been a day initiative, a day of conversation centering around meal times, bringing folks together from across Richland and Lexington counties to talk about what we love about our communities and what we can do to create stronger communities together.
Okay, and so a great success. You gathered much data and were able to use that data to make some change in our community. And that's what it's all about.
Yes, absolutely. So if you want to check out that data, it's at onthetablecola.org from the past 2 years. But what we really found is we have a really engaged group of people living here in Richland and Lexington counties. There's a lot of people who are out here wanting to make a difference in their communities and don't always know how. So On the Table provides an opportunity to get connected with other folks in the community, whether basing that on similarities or on differences, and talking through this how we can collaborate and create stronger communities together. So even just last year, we had over 2,100 people come together all in one day, and we're having conversations about all types of different things, whether it was community specific or kind of larger issues that surround us.
Okay, and so it is for Lexington and Richland counties only. And so let's talk a little bit about how you're going to navigate now with the COVID-19 restrictions in place.
Yes. So at its core, it's still a community-focused, conversation-based initiative that really wants to provide an opportunity for residents, businesses, and organizations to gather together for meaningful conversations and build personal connections. So to allow more flexibility in scheduling, however, we're taking it away from that day-long initiative, and we're actually expanding it to a week so that people can have more time to figure out virtual gatherings, or if they want to have smaller pockets of social distance in-person gatherings, they can do so anytime throughout that week. We've even gone so far to make social distance guidelines. We're taking some of the focus away from those mealtime conversations just for everyone's safety. Of course, strongly encouraging the use of masks and hand sanitizer and whatever PPE else you've got. But for those people who might want to host a conversation, if you plan on having more than 10 people, we'd really encourage having a virtual conversation instead. Also, it's just more accessible to more people. Of course, that comes and goes with its differences. But if you're wanting to have a larger conversation, get a lot of different voices, virtual might be an avenue to do so. And for people in our community who may not have access or may not wish to gather together like that, there's definitely that opportunity to have those safe in-person conversations.
Okay, so you can join by either being a host or a participant. So let's talk about how you can host one of the tables.
Yes. So you'd get over to onthetablecola.org. All the information is over there. And so pretty much for little or no cost, conversations can be hosted by Richland or Lexington County residents, businesses, nonprofits, places of worship, other organizations. And they determine the time, the location for their gathering, what topics are going to be discussed, and they can choose who they want to invite as guests or whether they want to open their conversation to the public. The Community Foundation will offer those virtual gathering resources for people who may not be as familiar or want to figure out a way to have those meaningful conversations. And those are all listed on our website. As soon as you get there, you'll see host a table or attend a table. So host a table, you'll fill out some questions about what your plans are, the where, when, why of what you're going to be doing. And to attend a table, we'll continuously populate those public conversations. So those will be categorized by topic. Education, race relations, civic engagement, and poverty are our 4 areas of focus this year. If you don't want to talk about one of those, that's perfectly fine. You can follow into how we've worked it out the years before, where there's no specific focus, but there will be conversations conversation guides available. So if you want to get into those deeper topics, then you'll be able to ask questions accordingly and navigate those conversations as a host as well.
Okay. Now, how long does it last each session or through the week? Each
Yes.
session.
Yes, so that's really up to the host. We know that people's availability is different. So years past, it's been 60 to 90 minutes is usually what we would gauge. But we also know that attention times on screen time can be very different, and that sort of thing. So that's really up to the host. We would encourage at least 30 minutes to account for, really to build those connections. Typically we find that more meaningful conversation comes in those longer conversations.
Okay, so now if you don't feel comfortable being the host and you just want to participate and you just want to sit at the table, if you would, how would one go about that?
Yes. So on the website, like I mentioned, you'll see the attend a table button. And
Mhm.
so hosts who have opted to have a public conversation will have their conversations listed on Eventbrite, and you can register to join a conversation. I will add that we're encouraging that public conversations be virtual ones. So you may want to keep that in mind if you're trying to use that search function, but there definitely is a way for you to get involved. And if not there, and you would rather do an in-person conversation, feel free to email me at onthetable@yourfoundation.org, and we'll be happy to get you squared away to attend a conversation.
All right. Now talk about how this all affects the community in the long run.
Yes. So in the long run, after the day of conversations in the past couple years, this year we'll be finalizing the week with some survey questions. It'll be a really brief survey. We're really capping it at 10 questions, including demographic information. So very, very brief. And we want to release a community report survey to the general public and community leaders to highlight those key findings that we found in our communities about what matters to people who are living here and what those people in positions to be able to make changes, what they can do based on what the community would want to see. So there is a level of accountability and relationship building that we really want to bring out from this. It's much more than the conversation. It continues well beyond that.
Mm.
And there's also the opportunity for Beyond the Table mini grants. We've done this past year to put those actionable ideas that may come from your conversations. So applications for those mini grants, which will be up to $2,000, will open on October 4th. So they'll be open the whole week of conversations, and information about those mini grants will be posted on onthetablecola.org when the time comes.
Okay. Can you give us some examples of some of the nonprofits who've benefited?
Yes. So the first one that comes to mind is Latino Communications. They had a project last year focusing on mentoring girls with local leaders in our community, both professionals and the like, with other Latinas who are living in the community. So it was called Chicas Chat. So it's an opportunity for girls to get paired with a mentor, and many of those relationships have continued to be sustained, even just from that little mini grant that popped up. So that's just one example. Those mini grants will be focused around increasing volunteering, increasing social change, or increasing civic engagement in our communities. So, there's definitely an actionable, tangible result that we're hoping to have at the end of this.
On the Table 2020 coming up. It's Sunday, October 4th through Saturday, October 10th. And for anyone, again, if you would recap, if anyone is interested in participating, give them your information again.
You'll find all the information you need to host or attend a conversation at onthetablecola.org, or you can email me at onthetable@yourfoundation.org. You can also check out our Facebook, Central Carolina Community Foundation, us on Instagram at CCCF Pics, or on Twitter at CCCF Tweets. So lots of good resources anywhere and multiple ways to reach us. So hopefully you'll be able to join in a conversation this year.
All right, good deal, good deal. I will be attending this year as well, so I look very forward to it. And so, Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you. And we're looking forward to talking to you come October for On the Table.
September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and my guest is Avisha Jameson. September is September September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and usually this month is the month that they use to have their annual walk. September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and this is the month that usually the James R. Clark Foundation has their annual walk, but due to COVID-19, that's going to be moved. That's going to be moved. I want to welcome my guest, Avisha Jameson, here to talk about the September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and typically this month is the annual walk for the James R. Clark Sickle Cell Foundation, but obviously with September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and typically this month, the James R. Clark Foundation has their annual walk, but it's been moved to a later date because of COVID-19. September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and typically this month, the James R. Clark September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and typically this month, the James R. Clark Foundation. September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and typically this month, the James R. Clark Memorial Sickle Cell Foundation. September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and typically the James R. Clark Memorial Sickle Cell Walk is September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and typically the annual Sickle Cell Awareness Walk. September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and typically this month, the James R. Clark Foundation has their annual walk, which this year has been postponed due to COVID-19. But there is a new date, and we'll talk about that and how you can help the Sickle Cell Foundation. September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and typically this month, the James R. Clark Sickle Cell Foundation has their annual walk, but this year, due to COVID-19, of course, it has been postponed till a later date. We're going to talk about that and how you can help the foundation and so much more. Let me welcome my guest, Avisha Jameson. So the walk, which would be the 15th annual walk, is being postponed till when? And what about testing? Do you have to have and what about testing? How is that done? Uh, and what about testing? How is that done? Can you only get tested if you have sickle cell in your family, or how does that work? Mm.